Well, first of all, I've got two reasons why it will go to $500 an ounce. Number one, in 1980, silver hit 50 on a spike. People might remember that. At that time, the money in the banks, M3, was only about 1.8 trillion. The monetary base has expanded tenfold since then. It's closer to 18 trillion. So if you look at the inflation-adjusted price of 50 from 1980, given the monetary base expansion, not inflation in terms of, price increases, but rather how much more money they've created, we're really looking at a price of 500, because 10 times 50 is 500. But there's another way to get there, too, and that is, let's say 1% of money in the banks decided to buy silver, and maybe another 1% decided to buy gold, slowly, moderately, over the course of an entire year, so as not to upset the market. What would that do to the price? Well, we know how much 1% of money in the banks is. That's 180,000 million, which is also stated as 180 billion. See, that's 1% of 18 trillion. So 180 billion or 180,000 million divided by the 700 million ounces of silver mined by the entire world every year, just doing the math on that, dividing those two numbers, gets us to $257 per ounce. But that assumption would leave no silver left over for industry at all, no silver left over for any sort of switches or electronics or jewelry or photography or flatware or tableware or anything like that, and it would leave no silver for the rest of the world to buy for investment at all either. And given the fact that the rest of the world will buy silver and the rest of the world will use some silver in industry, well, probably that means that 1% of money in the banks, when it tries to buy silver conservatively, slowly, over the course of the year, it'll take the silver price not to 257, but more like 500. And that's just an estimate, but I think it's pretty accurate.
And the $64,000 question, of course, is when will that happen? What do you think?
It could happen next year if enough people's awareness grew of the facts of the silver market. My trouble is I've only been able to reach about 80,000 people consistently with this message on my email list, and I've done the math, and it seems to show that we only have about 30,000 silver buyers in the entire country. So I have more than reached saturation point with regards to potential buyers for the market, but we really need to reach about, at least 1% of the country on a consistent basis for a year, or almost 2% of the country with the message of about how good silver and gold is consistently, accurately for over a year. And, if 1% of there's 300 million people, 310 million people in the country, and if you want to reach 2% of them, I need to reach about, say, 6 million people consistently over the course of a year in order for the accurate message to get across, and that's significantly greater than the numbers of people on my email list. So it's just a matter of publicity.
Yeah. We've heard lately that silver has reached a phase called backwardation within the futures market. I kind of understand the concept, sort of, what backwardation is, but it is a complicated word for some folks. Jason, can you break down for us what it means to have silver in backwardation and why this is important?
Well, basically it means that silver for immediate delivery is more expensive than it is for delivery, let's say, 3 months from now. And usually the apologists for the futures market say that that's an unusual thing and that silver for future delivery should be more expensive because of the fact that there's an interest rate in the world, and you should get more money by being willing to wait. But on the other hand, if you can't trust the futures markets, because if you know that the futures markets are selling more than they can honorably deliver, dishonored paper should always sell at a discount. And so that's what we're beginning to see, I think, is that people are beginning to realize that it's not worth it to wait for delivery when these people can't possibly deliver on all the contracts they're selling. In other words, it's sort of their paper system of manipulation is breaking down due to too many people seeing the fraudulent nature of it, which is a good thing. But in our business, backwardation is normal. If you were to want and to buy silver from me, for example, at my shop, and you want instant delivery, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. If you want a little bit of a discount, let's say if you want to wait at least even only 7 days, I can give you about a 0.5% discount because I don't have to use my capital to facilitate the trade, and my capital is limited. So if you're willing to wait the 5 to 7 days for delivery, I can offer a discount, and for me that sounds normal. And it's not because I'm trying to cheat anybody by selling more silver than exists. I just my capital's limited, and so therefore I can offer a discount if I don't have to take any risk on the trade, and I don't have to bind up or use up my capital on the trade. I mean, I only have a limited amount of capital. It's about $1.5 million right now in play in my shop, and we're doing about up to $3 million in trades a month. So I don't want to run out. That would be no good. So backwardation for me in my business seems normal. And when they complain, oh my gosh, it's so unusual, no. I think it should be this way.